Hey y'all, you gotta make this shepherd's pie. It's warm, comforting, delicious, and most of all, it's super easy to make. I started with 1.5 pounds of creamer potatoes. I left the skins on, and they'll boil for about 20 to 25 minutes. I then cooked up my ground beef, and you'll know your potatoes are finished when they're fork tender and the skins start to peel. I gave them a good rinse and let them drain and set them aside. Once your meat is cooked, I chose to add fennel seeds, and I love using my muddler. It's just fun. I also added onion powder, parsley, pink Himalayan sea salt, gave everything a good toss, and covered and set that aside. I moved on to my potatoes, and I used my pastry cutter. I just give them a rough mash, kind of breaking up the pieces. I then added butter, Greek yogurt. You're more than welcome to add sour cream. Some people like to add milk, and I also added 2 cloves of minced garlic. One thing I like to add as well is Parmesan cheese. Some people like to omit that, but I think it just gives it a really delicious bite and flavor to the potatoes. Also, if you like your potatoes to be more creamy and smooth, you can boil them for a little bit longer, maybe like 10 more minutes, but I kind of like a chunk to the potatoes when we eat them. I also added red pepper flakes and a dash of water since we do not consume milk in our house. I gave everything a really good mix together, so some of it's mashed and some of it's a little bit lumpy. That's just the consistency that we like, and the kids approved. I grabbed 1 medium onion and gave that a rough chop, and about a cup of parboiled carrots, and I gave that a rough chop as well. I added it to my saute pan, and I added some fresh thyme leaves. You can also use rosemary or any dehydrated herbs of your choice. I added the meat to the pan, and then I decided it wasn't enough space, so I put it in a pot. I also added a 1/4 cup of water to create a somewhat of a gravy-like consistency as well, and then I added paprika. I also took some organic ketchup because I did not have sauce, and I added Worcestershire. Mix all of that together really well until it gets real creamy and delicious, of course, and I added more Parmesan cheese. You really can't go wrong with Parmesan. I also added an additional clove of garlic. We just love our garlic, and guys, it's so good for you. All right, mix that all up together, and we're gonna start putting this into our casserole dish. I lay the meat and the carrot mixture on the bottom of the pan, and then I take dollops of the potato. Since I like my potatoes to have somewhat of a chunky consistency, I kind of just place spoonfuls on top, filling in any gaps. But again, if you have a smoother, creamier potato, you would just spread it across evenly. I then also added some pads of butter, kind of evenly distributing them across the top of the potatoes. And I also added more Parmesan cheese and pink Himalayan sea salt. Guys, you don't have to use as much cheese in this recipe, but there's just something about it that gives it that really good flavor. It's cozy and comforting, like I said. You're going to bake it in your oven for about 30 minutes or so on 350. I turned it to a low broil just to crisp up and bubble up that cheese. And let me tell you, it smells so good in here. Pair it with a side salad and enjoy. So go make it, okay guys? Okay? Okay.